My favorite part of your book, I think everyone should read it. You had a brief encounter with, you were working for the Psychic Friends Network.
Listen, everybody has a past.
No,
Some people
no.
do porn.
Yeah,
I worked for the
Yeah, but can you, like, you were really helping people, and then just briefly tell them about that.
Well, you know, I never thought that being a psychic would be my career. It was my hobby in the beginning. And I was really fascinated by the infomercials. As much as I've, you know, studied with spiritual teachers and read a ton of books, I love trash TV. And at the time, you know, Dionne Warwick and Linda Georgian was trash TV. So I was living in Dallas at the time, and it was pretty common for psychics to do this because you could do it from home. And it was a fairly legitimate company, in my opinion. But
the pay was crap.
The pay was crap.
It was like
we were told
15 cents for every 2 minutes?
We were told we'd get $15 an hour, but it was per talk minute.
Okay.
So in the beginning they had 1,500 psychics employed, but if you didn't keep people on the phone long enough, you wouldn't get a lot of calls. So I would make like 82 cents an hour because I wanted to get you off the phone as soon as possible because it was $5 a minute. That's a lot of money.
Right.
So I was terrible at it. But it was an interesting journey. I worked for several of them, and what really disturbed me was I had called in to, you know, this is the way you do it, called into a trunk, calls started coming to you, and people would say, I got a letter from you in the mail. And what the company would do, this is in my opinion, my experience, they would send a letter that would say, you know, Dear Tammy, your psychic Dougall at extension, and they'd plug in numbers to get you to call, saying that I saw something bad in your future.
No.
That's disgusting. I mean, and in my business, unfortunately, there's very little ethics. You know, there are no rules. There's no certification program. I have a lot of rules. You can only come once a year. Once I knew too much about you, I can't read for you anymore because I'm not clear. And you know, this is terrible for business, but my goal is that I don't want people to get a reading from me. My goal is that I want people to realize that they have their own intuitive power and they're going to make better decisions if they listen to their heart and their gut. And that's why I couldn't work for companies like that. I've been asked to rep companies before for a lot of money, and I can't do it. It's not worth it.
You say a lot of people come to you and they want you to tell them what they want to hear.
Always, my God.
Because they're always looking for answers or
So
validation. So irritating.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. So,
well, everybody wants to hear that the love of their life is around the corner, they're about to get a raise, they're never going to get sick, and they don't have to do anything for it. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works.
Right.
I wish it worked that way. But you actually have to do things in your life to make change. You know, the biggest misconception of a psychic is that everything in your life is written in stone, and you know, until the day you die, that everything that's going to happen. That's not true. I think you come to the planet with an outline for your life. For example, at this point, I'm supposed to be a facilitator and a healer. That's what I'm good at. Whether I'm having coffee with a friend, giving a reading, I want to talk about your stuff. What are you working on? Where are you right now? How can I help you? How can I offer advice? That's what I'm good at. How well I take care of myself, how well I stay true to my craft, that's up to me, and that will define my success rate.
wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you're a perfect example. I'll give you another example. I have clients who come to me who will say things like, I want to sing, I want to be a singer, I want to be a performer, I want to be a writer. Great, so write, so perform, so sing, go to karaoke. Do you want to be famous? Because that's different.
Right.
You know, do you want, you know, fans? That's different. If you want to be in a creative venue, then be in a creative venue. Because of your enthusiasm, like this website, this show that you're doing, this is something that you created. You didn't wait for it to happen. You didn't wait for someone to bring it to you. You made it happen. My book, I was rejected hundreds of times. Hundreds of times.
But you knew that already by Dougall Fraser.
But I kept going and kept going and kept going, and I ended up getting a huge advance and having major publishers fighting over it in an auction. If I had let the first rejection go through, I never would have made it happen.
Well, I mean, Larry King is quoted on the back.
Well,
Tori Spelling, I love it. Tori Spelling calls him the Seinfeld of psychics. What's that about?
Well, the truth is, I mean, a lot of spiritual books are really serious. And even if you've never read a spiritual book, I love David Sedaris. I mean, those are books that I enjoy. So I wanted it to be funny. I don't take myself very seriously. At the end of the day, I recognize that I'm basically a dressed-up gypsy. I respect my work.
In purple.
Right. But it is comical on some level. So a lot of it is funny stories of the mistakes that I've made. I do not like when spiritual teachers or facilitators take themselves too seriously, Dr. Phil. But I just have issues with people who I want you to see that I make mistakes, I trip, I'm maybe 2 weeks at most ahead of the people that I'm reading for. And if I can have you identify with the mistakes that I've made and tools that I've used to change my life, hopefully it'll help you as well.
Now, like, say if you're doing my reading,
Yeah.
do you see like 6 months from now, or do you only see like flaws in my life and strengths that I need to work on?
I can foretell as well. I try to stick to 6 months to a year, because once you get to 5 years and that kind of stuff, you don't win.
I don't think I want to know.
Well, exactly.
5 years on.
And then it's too far off. You don't want people to stop. So what I try and do is, there are certain things that everyone wants to acquire. Like I want to write a second book. I know that will happen.
Okay.
How quickly I finish it, though, that's up to me. So what I try and do to people is inspire them to make what they want to happen faster.
Okay, so I'm out of questions. So I'm just being real because I feel like he knows.
And I can't hear your thought. I'm not a mind reader. I mean, I
but
know
what are you
people
picking up on right now? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you want
Right.
to end it, we can
Right.
completely end it. I feel like it was a great interview.
No,
But
no,
if
no.
you
You
want to
need
talk
to-
to me a little bit, I'm open.
You need to focus more on relationships. Relationships have been hard for you, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and the reason it's hard for you, and this is partially your fault, is when you start the relationship and you're doing this on a subconscious level, you tell the person that you don't need anything, which is not true at all. And then what happens is 3 to 6 months into it, when in their subconscious mind they're like, oh, well, he doesn't need anything, he's fine. Then you get frustrated because you're like, no, I need a little attention too. So what you need to do is be clear from the beginning that yes, you are calm, cool, and collected, as I said earlier, but at the same time you are someone that has needs. And I think very early in your life, around the age of 8, there was a sense of, I have to take care of myself for certain things in my life. There's an energy of secrecy. And I don't know if it's about your family, but even your family kind of projected, I mean, I don't want to use the word plastic, because part of it was true, but it wasn't completely authentic what was going on. There was a little bit of like a projection. So I think...
Oh, yeah. I mean, my dad's a minister. You have to project to be the perfect
Right.
family.
So
and
I
that's
think
when
you
it
picked
started.
up on that quickly.
You have to be everything to everybody.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that...
Dead on.
So that constantly floats in the back of your mind without you even knowing it. So, like, the homework that I would give you is, in a dating scenario, you should always make sure to bring up one significant flaw about yourself within the first 20 minutes. That is the absolute best for you. You'll get uncomfortable, you'll avoid it. The more you can talk about your needs and the part of you that's weak, the more you'll attract in the person that you want.
What about my career?
Your career is great. That'll always come naturally to you. 2011 for you is a year of big money, but it relates mostly to writing. Writing is where I think you're at your best, because when you're really in the zone, I mean, you're a good speaker too, don't get me wrong, but writing is where I think you're at your best, because you're not censoring it yourself. And ironically, not when you're writing for someone else, but when you're, well, that's weird. Yeah, in a weird way, like when you're writing for someone else, or when you think of someone else while you're doing it, you tend to really get into a zone that's pretty clear.
I don't know if I'm a songwriter. I don't know if
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Cool.
maybe that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big money in 2011 for you.
Okay, but what about 2010?
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's good, but it's not, it's getting there.
Okay, I don't want to keep you, but I'm just kind of curious.
But you kind of do.
Yeah, I do. You can tell. But what about this whole like hosting thing? Like, I keep having all these meetings. Like, what gives?
Welcome to LA.
Yeah, no, I know.
6 this week. I mean,
Yeah.
that wasn't even my desire.
Okay.
Yet I'm constantly going to hosting meetings. Okay, wait. I don't want this part to be on camera.
We can turn it off. Well, Dougall and I just had a private reading off camera, and I've got a lot to think about. If you want more information on Dougall, you could check out his book, but you already knew that, by Dougall Fraser, or you can go to his website, which is pretty genius. I love the clips on YouTube. I love your website. So DougallFraser.com. Is there anything else I should know?
No, I don't think so. That was fun. This will be a wildly successful video. That's my prediction. Just kidding. But no.
Money for everybody.
Money for everybody.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for watching with Josh.com.